Now, the National Peace Accord signed ahead of the 2027 elections, but will this pact, which of course go beyond symbolism to truly guaranteeing peaceful and credible polls, seems to be the big question on the lips of many. Let's get into the conversation this evening as I bring in my guest into this evening's conversation. Dr. George Agbakahi is an APC chieftain and political analyst. He joins this conversation. I also have Samuel Kennedy Nwokocha. He is the Southeast spokesperson for the Obidient movement. Khalid Barau is a PDP candidate, and Ningi Warji, Federal Constituency, Bauchi State. He also joins the conversation. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. It's great having you on the show this evening. Let's get straight to it. And I'll start with you, Khalid. The Peace Accord, I will take you back to what Omoyele Sowore said. He described it as just a ceremony that, to a very large extent, really lacks substance. And for him, he said that justice, it should be called, I think, Justice Accord, and not just Peace Accord, where people sign documents, and at the end of the day, we still see violence. He made reference to what happened in Osun State. What do you make of this? You're a candidate in this election.
Good evening, Mr. Dapo. Good evening, fellow Nigerians. I think before I go on, let me just draw our attention back to memory lane. I can say that what Sowore said, it was just a ceremony, and I believe also it was just a ceremony. I am not condemning entirely the act of signing peace accord, but going back to the memory lane, I think Sir Frederick Lugard, who come up with the amalgamation of Northern and Southern Protectorate in the 1914, was a foundation for peace, peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. And it was that amalgamation that bring about what we call today a country, a republic, Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if a country like Nigeria that has, come together as a protectorate of two different protectorates, become one and become a nation over 100 years and still struggling in every bit of an election to sign a peace accord, then something is wrong somewhere. Now, after the amalgamation of Northern and Southern Protectorate of the 1914, which obviously you knew, invariably, if God so wishes, he would have made Nigerians, all of Nigerians Muslims, or he would have made all Nigerians Christians, or he would have made all Nigerians House of Fulanese or Igbos or Yorubas. But our diversity should be our own strength. Our diversity should be, what binds us together. But I don't know why. I don't know why. It saddens me every day.
All right.
When I see an election time that we will sign peace accord. We call ourselves the giant of Africa. We are the largest population country in Africa, the black largest population in
All
Africa.
right.
And by 2050, we're going to be the third largest country in the world.
All right.
By statistics. It saddens me, actually, Mr. Dapo, to see that in every election that we will sign peace accord. What are we thinking?
So what should we sign instead? What kind of pact? Do you think that's having some sort of a gentleman agreement to ensure that all parties will bind by the law and be peaceful? Do you think that that should really happen? Maybe like a justice accord, for instance.
Well, my own perception is that I want to use the words of former President Goodluck Jonathan. No vote is worth the blood of any Nigerian. So as a politician, as I am now contesting for member House of Representatives, if it means that somebody's blood is going to be spilled, I swear to God Almighty, I don't want the position, I don't want the seat.
All right,
because the safety of our property and our lives is more paramount and important to me than the election. So every politician must have it at the back of his mind that this country is greater than his own interest.
All right, thank you so much, Khalid Barau. Let me just leave you for a moment and go straight to Kennedy Nwokocha, who is the Southeast spokesperson for the Obidient movement. Kennedy, what's your take on the idea of a peace accord? Do you think it's actually relevant?
A ritual. I think it's like everything in our country has become a ritual that is not taken seriously. So we have a ceremonial election that, in most cases, the will of Nigerian people doesn't count. So we have we have developed this habit of every year we go, every election cycle, you know, we gather ourselves together and go and sign a peace accord. At the end of the day, the election will be rigged, people will be killed, vote will not be properly accounted for, and you know, at the end of the day, we end up in court, and the court will now decide, you know, the election for us. And you know, goes back, nothing happens. Even the people who are the proprietors of this peace accord signing, they say nothing after the election is rigged. So it's a problem for us. But what we should even look at in that, to say that even that peace accord is even dead on arrival, was that the president, the person on whose behalf that the country should, you know, rally around every other person to say we must have a peace in this election, the person who should give vent to that peace accord that was signed was not there. It means that the president does not even believe in free and fair election. He does not believe in the peace accord. He does not believe in whatever. He does not have respect for the peoples of this country. And the people who organized that peace accord, some of them are former, like Absalami, you know, Reverend Kuka, a lot of prominent men of this country, people who fought for this democracy, who had been present at one time or the president did not respect it. He did not even thought it wise for him to be there, because if the president had come there that yesterday, he would have given some people hope that this president believe in peace. So he was not there. So if the president was not there, what peace are you signing? With who?
I mean, that seems to be a big question. Let me, before we go on our break, let me go to the APC chieftain. We have, as our guest this evening, Dr. George Agbakahi. Why was Mr. President not physically there during the peace accord? They're asking questions as to the reason. And, I mean, his absence might just really be that loud noise that people are saying, look, we are talking about a major election here, and this is a pact to say we will ensure we'll keep to the tenets of the rules of this particular process, and we'll be peaceful. Why was Mr. President away? You're an APC chieftain.
Thank you very much for having me in your show. You see, it really bothers me when people criticize this National Peace Accord. It's really bothersome because they've done a lot to promote democracy in this country. So in the first place, the secretary to government, I believe, represented the president in that event. And the gentleman, the Southeast leader...
That is the question Nigerians are asking. It's not the secretary... Sorry, sir, please hold on. It's not the secretary to the government that is contesting. It's President Bola Tinubu's face and name that is on that ballot, that people are going to contest, maybe vote for. So why wasn't it physically there at the peace accord? Does he rate it?
The president has a lot of things to do as the president of this great country. So there is nothing wrong in sending the secretary to government of the federation. But I am asking the gentleman that Atiku himself was not there and he didn't send any person to represent him. That is the truth. But the point I want to make is this. The National Peace Accord, chaired by General Abdulsalam Abubakar and Bishop Matthew Kuka, it was conceived in 2014, ahead of 2015 general election. And there is no doubt that this committee came into being because of the post-election violence of 2011, which resulted in the loss of more than 800 lives in several northern Nigerian states within days, while homes, businesses, places of worships were destroyed. So it's ironical and disingenuous to me when people are critical of this particular national peace.
All right, sir.
Because they've done a lot.
Okay, I will definitely come back. I'll come back to you, sir, but we need to go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. Stay with us. Of course, you're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest at this time. We have just a very few minutes left on the program. But let's go straight to our Abuja studio, where I noticed that you gentlemen were reacting when Dr. Agbakahi was speaking. So let me just come to you. Kennedy, in 30 seconds, what do you have to say?
It was funny, what our Adebe on that side is saying. This president has been an absentee president, from day one. Remember when he went to Chatham House, he has to go with a batch of people who answers questions for him. And since he has been the president of this country, everything that is happening in this country, whether they are killing people in Benue or in Jos, in Plateau, it doesn't go there. It's always very busy, And the point we are making is that if this president believes in peace, if he believes in peace and free and fair election, his presence there yesterday would have actually helped people, would have actually dampened the politics that is actually building up. It would have given people that courage that, this president believes in free and fair election. But he doesn't believe in peace. He doesn't believe. Remember what happened?
All right, thank you. I just needed your brief reaction on that. But this is the same president that has said that he believes in democracy and that this election isn't do or die. What do you have to say about it, Khalid?
See, that is why I talk of what former President Goodluck Jonathan said in 2014, that his election is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. So I think what Mr. Kennedy, my brother, is saying is that the presence of Mr. President could have given a very positive signal to Nigerians. But I am so sad hearing from the mouth of my elder brother, the APC Chieftain, who is saying that even Atiku is not there. So you cannot use somebody's name as an excuse of you being an absentee in a peace accord that was designed to save this country from election malpractices and aftermath of an election that might result to the loss of lives and properties of the citizens of this country.
All right, thank you very much. Before we go, let me come back to you, Dr. Agbakahi. I know you want to react. 60 seconds. What do you have to say?
Well, I firmly believe we will have a genuine peaceful transition. The 2027 general election will be free and fair, credible, and peaceful. We've gone through a whole lot. We've gone from an electoral history genuinely blighted by the violence of 2011 to a system anchored, by biometric accreditation and transmission of results. So things have changed tremendously in this country. And the president is a true Democrat who wants the best for this country. Look at what happened in Osun State. If it's APC that won that election, everybody will say it was rigged. It was rigged. APC rigged it. So the 2027 general election, it will be a very peaceful election. And I'll tell you the truth, that APC will win that election.
Well,
they will follow the path of peaceful,
I'm sure at the end of the day, of course, Nigerians would determine or be the key determinants in who eventually becomes our leaders. But I'd like to say a big thank you to you gentlemen for your time on the program this evening. Dr. George Agbakahi is an APC chieftain and political analyst. Thank you as always for your time. Kennedy Samuel Nwokocha, Southeast spokesperson for the Obidient. Barau, PDP candidate. Ningi Warji, Federal Constituency, Bauchi State. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. Well,